In this video, we are going to talk about the rest of the minor and major intervals. In the last video, we talked about the second. Okay? In this one, we're going to talk about the second, third, sixth, and seventh. Now, we're isolating the second, third, sixth, and seventh because it just so happens that these are the only intervals within an octave that can be major or minor. Notice we're omitting the unison, the fourth, the fifth, and the octave. That is because those intervals can only be perfect, diminished, or augmented, but they can never be minor or major. So we're going to keep those for another video. So we already talked about the distance between different types of seconds. We know that a major second, for example, C to D, is 2 half steps. An augmented second is 1 more half step than that, so that'll be 3. A minor second is 1 less half step than a major second, so it must be 1 half step. Diminished second is 1 half step less than a minor second, so it's 0 half steps apart. Diminished second, minor second, major second, augmented second. Now a major third. A major third is always going to be 4 half steps. Okay. Now let's say that you need a system, you'd like a system to help you remember these and you forget. Maybe you're doing an exam or you're doing an assignment and you can't remember how many half steps are in between some intervals. Let me show you a simple trick using the keyboard. It just so happens that you can use any major scale to determine the number of half steps between any of your major intervals and perfect intervals, including C major. C major is easy because all of the keys are white. Okay? Just so happens, if you compare the first scale degree, in this case C, to any other scale degree, it would only be major or perfect. Okay? Major or perfect. So, C to D is a major second. C to E, major third. C to F, it's a fourth, so it must be perfect. C to G, fifth, so it's also perfect. C to A, major sixth. C to B, major seventh. C to C, perfect octave. So let's say I want to verify the number of half steps in a major third. I'll just start from C, go up 2 notes, 1, 2, 3, and count my half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4. C to E is 4 half steps apart. So that's one way we can verify this. A minor third is 1 half step smaller than a major third. So it would be 3 half steps apart. A diminished third is 2 half steps smaller than the major third. So it's 2 half steps. And augmented, we're going to increase the distance by a half step, making it 5 half steps total. Major third, minor third, diminished third, augmented third. I could also change this by adjusting the lower note. Major third, minor third, diminished third, major third, augmented third. Notice how when I'm adjusting the upper note, as I raise the upper note, my interval is getting larger, more towards augmented. I'm augmenting the interval. If I'm moving in to the left, lower in pitch, I'm diminishing the interval. I'm shrinking in size. But when I'm adjusting the lower pitch, by lowering it, I'm increasing, augmenting the interval. When I'm raising it, I'm decreasing, diminishing the interval because it's all about the distance between the two pitches. not how high or low they are, but the distance between them. So that's very important to understand. And we'll look at an example of this. Okay. All right, let's talk about the sixth next. So C to A, major sixth. Remember, all the white keys starting from C, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Any note compared to C within an octave is always going to be major or perfect. Let's count the half steps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 half steps. That means that the minor sixth is going to be 8 half steps, and the diminished sixth, 7 half steps, augmented sixth, 10 half steps. And lastly, the major seventh. Okay, C to B. I want you to notice something. It's 1 half step smaller than an octave. So C to C, if you shrink that by 1 half step, you'll always end up with a major seventh. I think this is the fastest way to find a major seventh. But let's figure out how many half steps are in between these notes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So there are 11 half steps between for a major seventh. If we make it minor, shrink it by 1, 10. Diminished, 9. Augmented, add 1, 12. 12 half steps. Let's look at what this looks like on staff paper. So let's say we're in treble clef, and let's say we are starting from the note F to A. Okay? And let's say that we have a flat on A. We want to identify the numeric quality, the numeric value of this interval as well as its quality. So the first step is to look at the spelling. This is F to A. F to A. There's a G in between. So that's 1, 2, 3. It's a third. So this is an interval of a third. Next step is we want to count the number of half steps to determine whether it's diminished, minor, major, or augmented. To do this, we're going to transpose this to a keyboard. Remember, the notes are F and A flat. I'm going to go to my little keyboard here. I have the note F and the note A flat. Now I just need to count the half steps. 1, 2, 3. They are 3 half steps apart. Then I need to remember how many half steps, well, what kind of third is 3 half steps apart? And if I look back at the sheet that I just wrote for you guys here, this is the one. Okay, there's the chart. If we look at the third, a minor third is 3 half steps apart. Okay? And this is something you'll have to just learn and memorize to do quickly. For a while, you can use, a system to help you remember, but ideally, you just will have it memorized. A minor third's 3 half steps, major third's 4 half steps. Minor seconds, half step. Major seconds, a whole step. Okay, being able to identify quickly is very important for speed and proficiency. Okay. Let's do another example here. Let's say that we have the note F sharp, and let's say we go up to a D flat. F sharp to D flat. What is the numeric interval? Is it a second, third, sixth, or a seventh? Well, again, we're just going to look at the spelling. This is F to D, ignoring the accidentals. F, G, A, B, C, D. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a sixth. What kind of sixth is this? Let's find out. How many half steps are between F sharp and D flat. Here's F sharp, here's D flat, and we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 half steps. And if you look at your chart, you'll see that this is a diminished sixth. So now let's take a look at an example that's in your sheets. Okay, let's take a look at this very first example. It says, write the given interval above the given note. You're given an F sharp, and you're asked to write a major third, a major third above this F sharp. For step number 1, just write the note that's a third higher. Here's F, I'm going to go up a third, which is A. Now, I'm going to use the keyboard, and I'm going to count up a major third, which is 4 half steps. So here's F sharp, my starting point. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the note I need to write. How do I make A this note? I have to add a sharp because it's a half step higher than A. So I need a sharp. Let's take another example here. We have an F sharp again. We're asked to write a note a major second higher. Again, I'm going to write the second first, which is just G. And now I need to make it a major second. A major second is 2 half steps. Here's my F sharp. Count my 2 half steps. 1, 2. That's this note here. How do I make G this key? I need to add a sharp because it's a half step higher. Let's do one more. The major sixth. We're given the F sharp again. What note is a sixth higher than F? F, G, A, B, C, D. F to D. So I'm going to draw my D. Now I'm going to count my half steps. How many half steps are in a major sixth? 9. F sharp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Well, I need to modify D such that it is this key. Here's D. That's a half step higher. I add a sharp. Hopefully this makes sense. Let me know if you have any questions. Otherwise, I will see you in the next video where we talk about perfect intervals.